Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of Eye on Icon, where we go around the ecosystem and get you the latest news. And with me, as always, David.
Hello, it is Thursday. There's weekly news, and we're chatting live on air. So, how about it?
Good. Are we live? What's going on?
Yeah. Well, if you're listening to this, you wouldn't even tell the difference whether we're live or not. We sound live, and I suppose that's as good as it gets. Short episode or long episode today?
I'm thinking a short one, David. Yet again.
Okay. Let's kick it right off then. Shall we do markets, or do you want to tell me what you've been what you've been watching the football? Maybe, Fez?
No, I haven't. But thanks to you, I knew Denmark and Australia were playing, and I woke up to the news that apparently Australia won. So.
Apparently 1-0. They beat Denmark. They're through to the next round. There's a lot of Aussies very happy about that. You look mildly amused, so maybe we can drop the Football World Cup for now, or shall I just circle back when you make it to the semis?
You know what? This is all my master plan. I'm just pretending I don't care about soccer, but outside my room, it's just soccer merch everywhere.
Yeah.
No,
okay.
Look,
well, same.
Okay. Well, look, yes, go the Aussies, and hopefully we just win the cup, and that'll be the end of it, and we can all move on.
Yeah, another 4 years of quietness. That's the only way to do it.
Exactly. Okay, markets. Oof.
Yeah, let's jump right in. It's been more exciting than usual, hasn't it?
It has, David. Do you like my colorful graph?
Yeah, I would like you to tell me more about it. What happened was the price of ICON shot up, and I believe all of the markets shot up, but ICON did exceptionally well in that little pump.
Oh, yes. And this is the thing. So, David, there's quite a tale to tell here, okay? So, yesterday, I sat at my desk and I was like, you know what? It's about time I buy some ICX. It's been a while. I kid you not. This is how it went down. So I moved some money. I got it on the exchange. It was in DAI. I was like, oh, there's no trading pair on Binance for DAI ICX. So I swapped the DAI to BUSD, not BNUSD.
Yeah.
Then I got distracted for a few minutes. Then I came back, went to the charts, and I'm looking at it, and I'm about to hit the buy button. I'd lined it all up. And just as I'm about to click it, this happens. This giant green candle. Like, I kid you not, like, if you go into the 5-minute charts, this is kind of what happened to me. This happened, and it went up, and I caught it on the I was shattered.
Where was ICON pumped and dumped? Like, how does this happen?
So this is what I thought. Like the way this was going down was this wick had come up to like 19, and it was already crashing hard. It was like really fighting to stay up the 18 live. Like as I was like, oh, it must be a pump and dump group. I even went to the Eye on Icon Telegram, and Geodude's like also wondering what was going on there, and I was adamant it was a pump and dump. But after hours where I kept checking that I wanted to make my buy, no pump and dump. It seemed to be quite the buy, 2 buys, but who knows? The whole market pumped, but ICX pumped the most, which was great to see. But I didn't jump on the bandwagon. I've learned a lesson. Never celebrate when ICX pumps. It only just gets rubbed in your face later on.
Yeah, I'm a hardliner as well. I take it one step further. I just never celebrate. I won't do it. We might win the World Cup, but you know what? Just gonna.
Who's we?
The Orange Brigade, Fez. The real masters of the craft.
And who are they? I have no idea. I genuinely want to learn.
Oh, it's the Dutch football team. They are known worldwide for their meticulous play and tactic and skill and coaching, and it's a formality really. It's a matter of time. Playing the United States next Saturday.
Saturday. Okay, that was my next question. Okay. Yep. So they'll beat USA, and then at some point they're going to face Australia, and
yeah,
that's going to be an interesting show.
it's gonna be awkward. Awkward's good. Yeah,
Markets.
but yeah, no celebrating.
No.
Obviously, whatever the top was there, it retraced, and now I don't know. Like I feel like it'll either come all the way back down again with the rest of the markets, or this might be the new temporary range. You've drawn a lot of like zones and colors in your graph. Do you want to tell us a bit more about that?
So look, again, I'm totally don't know what I'm doing, but this is kind of your Fibonacci chart thing, and essentially what I learned in trading school, David, was when you see a massive like spike in price, you can do the old fibs on it and kind of pick up from the point it's taken off, this first green candle to the tip, and then expect a retracement down to, usually if most traders are following this, so it retraces down to 0.61, and that's where you can, or 5, like these are the zones where you can expect a bounce, any that'll keep going, or if it keeps going down and it breaks that 0.78, then it's just going to shit. Well, this is what I learned, right? So I attempted to be a bit smart for you, David, since the Aussies won, and I thought maybe I could get another win on the board over here, and I charted up.
Looks like it. Yeah. Trading school. Tell me a bit more, please. Were you a nerd or were you a jock?
It was a. What was I? I think I was just an outcast. It was a solid 3-day. 3-day over the weekend, went to this course. It was quite good, actually. I learned a ton. Later on, the guy was a scamster, but it doesn't matter. I learned how to trade basic trading.
No, it's good, because otherwise we'd definitely be lost on this little segment here. The markets. Do we want to look at any other markets? Or
yes, of course. Let's take a look at Top Dog, BTC. Ooh, I haven't. Ignore all these charts. These are... Hey. No. Okay, let's just delete all these drawings. So what do we got here? BTC did climb up a little bit and hit the top off 17,243, around that. But it looks like at the moment we're looking at, I don't know what we're looking at. Well, this is where it stopped. And what do you think, David? Overall, are you getting this to be like a fake pump? It's going to go the way of Dodo?
I don't think the macro issues have resolved yet. So if you like, the worldwide economy is kind of slowly maybe recovering a bit from the oil and gas crises, and there's the wars happening, but at the same time it's all still happening. So even though there might be some recovery and optimism, nothing's been solved. Like, I don't feel like we're at all out of that. And seeing as all these markets are so heavily correlated, I wouldn't bet high on this being the bottom and now everything going up. So for me, I'm just looking at this and not celebrating, which is classic David.
Classic David, indeed. Yeah, look, it's interesting. I also, I'm not buying into it. But at the same time, like, no, I'm just not buying into it. That's it. Like, if I go back to trading school, David, like, this looks like a reverse Head and Shoulders, a terrible one, which is a bullish, and that is bullish because that's a reversal and it's going up. But time will tell what happens. Overall, I'm with you. I think we're going to hover. I don't expect, even if we go up, we're going to come crashing down. This is the beauty of bear market. Once you're conditioned in a bear market, expect the worst, always.
I was someone posted a question saying, hey, you crypto OGs, what is this bear market feeling like as compared to last bear market? And I was reading the replies. It was interesting. A lot of people said that the last one felt more hopeless because there was much less not so much adoption, but less bigger players. And some people said that time around the bear market in 2018-19, it really felt like crypto could be done. Whereas now these same people are saying like it doesn't feel done at all, because we know the amount of development that's being done and the amount of world real world use cases that's being worked on across the board. It might have come down in volume, but that is happening, and it wasn't last time. So that's like a very mildly optimistic view on this period.
I think it's just true though. Like even last time, I remember I was in that bear market. I was living the high life until I realized things don't go in the up. And when it came crashing down, this was where I started researching, and there wasn't much to use. Like we had Maker, we had Dai. Those were the big things, and just like using ETH as your collateral was basically what I did, and that started the journey into DeFi. But yeah, there wasn't much. Now, you know, looking, there's so much opportunity. Like, I know this is not Icon related, but heck, like, you know what? I will keep it Icon related. Oh, I mean, yes, the monks sponsor us, but you and me have been tweeting a lot about via Iron Icon about Ohm, but that's not because they sponsor us. It is also genuinely, that's opportunity right there. Like, you know, there's protocols just like it, Balance. Heck, you go on layer 2, there's a ton of new stuff that's coming out that I question where the yield's coming from. But there's a ton of innovation in the OG space, and what I mean, your typical money markets like Aave that are being launched on layer 2s and stuff. There's just opportunity everywhere at the moment. And yeah, it's a bear market, but the protocols that are designed DeFi, decentralized, run on the blockchain, they're working fine and generating a shit load of yield. Like, so, yeah.
Yeah.
I agree.
True. That makes me feel better, you know, when you talk about DeFi and you being an OG from the last bear market and feeling the difference. Like, I'm like, okay, Fez, lead the way.
Yeah, not financial advice. Definitely don't go all in. Okay, so next up, actually, just before we do that, we didn't check ETH. I love ETH, and I didn't see what was going on. Ooh, see that, David? The reverse. Yeah, interesting to see what the markets do now. I have no idea. Okay. So next up.
Yeah, tweet of the week. Let's do this, and let's keep doing this. I think we should pick an icon-related tweet or a thread every week. Someone who's made an effort, someone who raises interesting points, someone who says something so ridiculously funny that we have to elect it. And this week, we'll kick it off with the Rhizome Labs thread on the Java score. Big thread, lots of discussion, interesting enough. Some big responses as well to what it is. And do you want to do a little intro?
Oh, okay. I hope I can do the summary justice. So, basically, it goes on to talk about, we know the Icon blockchain supports Java, so people can write their contracts and etc. in Java, whereas you talk Ethereum, Binance Smart Chain, Avalanche, all these forks off that code base, all are written in Solidity. Now, so obviously with a lot of devs, like even Polkadot, for example, is in Substrate, but it supports the EVM layer, which is Solidity. So chains can, like Moonbeam and stuff like that, when they built new chains, they're able to attract devs because these devs are used to working in a Web3 land that is on Solidity via Ethereum, Binance Smart Chain, all those existing chains. So Java isn't like that, right? It's a different language, and the actual user base, when you talk devs, is corporate side, which is what Icon was pitching. You know, that's what they wanted. But a lot of the devs are there, and you know, that's not the up and coming language, I guess, in Web3 land. Java isn't the up and coming language. It is Solidity, right? So
yeah.
So Rhizome have brought this up, going, you know, where does this sit when it comes to Icon?
It's like you're back at trading school and everyone's like talking slang, and you come in and say like, "Yo, anyone speak Latin?" Because you know, anyone want to talk with me in Latin, and everyone's going to look at you and say that's for old people.
And so look, Rhizome Labs, they make some solid points. Okay, we're not able to, if we're going for the main demographic to attract these devs, they're in the Solidity land space. They're not going to come to Java. So we got to tap in the pool that are existing devs. And these Java devs haven't looked at Web 3. They're still interested in their Web 2 land, right? So this is one aspect. The other aspect that Rhizome Labs talks through is, now what was the other thing? I think for me it was, I lost my train of thought here, but overall, I agree, but I disagree in some ways as well. So the other aspect was, okay, so we know that devs for Java, sorry, I got my memory back. The other aspect is we know devs from Java, we're not getting Java devs. So why are we positioning ourselves as a layer 1 dApp chain to lure Java devs, etc., etc.? That ship may have sailed and it's getting too late for us. This is one of the aspects that gets raised through this thread. And given that, there's talk of, well, we should be layering, talking about us being a cross-chain hub or something, or we need a particular niche and zone in on that. What else, David? I know I'm doing a terrible job here, but some aspects I've done okay.
That's okay. Those are the points raised. So in response to this was Eric from the foundation.
One more thing as well, David. So one of the other things, which is valid as well. So, majority chains that are getting more adoption, even in the Cosmos universe now, have been enabled with USDC. And I even know Rhizome Labs Brian is very pro on that. And I completely understand it because USDC is kind of gone about things the official way. So if you can get it native on your chain, yes, it's not decentralized. Forget all that for a moment. It's just you're less you're risk averse because Circle have gone about getting legislation and abiding by the rules of where they're set up, which is in America, not the Bahamas. And so there's a lot of different perks, right? So, and this is one of them. Go back to you, David.
I was going to make a comment on the responses that came in. One of them was that what would help is the creation of more developer tooling that makes it easier to code in Java or code with Java, interact with it, so that you can actually broaden the group of people who are well versed in it. You can pull in people who might know the language or might know it not very well but want to learn. And with the right tooling, they can bootstrap their own little projects and get stuff done faster and easier. And there was a comment made about RFPs, right? About the ICON Foundation actually writing RFPs for tooling. Right CPS here is putting through tooling. CPS is funding tooling so that writing dApps in Java becomes easier. And to me, it feels like it would be the answer to this would be to have a broad suite of tooling so that the language becomes less of a hurdle and more of a unique selling point again.
Yep.
So right now, in the thread, it's framed as, hey, with that language, it's putting us back. But then it's automatically saying we should do what everyone else is doing.
Yeah.
But that's not always your answer, because then you're just going to run after what everyone else is doing, and you're going to do it less good because you're late.
Yeah.
So if you manage to tackle the hurdle, get good tooling out there so that writing with Java on ICON becomes more accessible and easier, then you may be able to turn it into a unique selling point of your blockchain, whether that's a layer 1 dApp chain or whether it's a cross-chain interoperability hub, however you want to frame it, or whatever you're chasing after. But interesting points, definitely, and a lot of people with opinions on it and insight.
everyone got involved. Scott, Min was getting in there and not being critical, genuinely asking questions, which was great to see. So it raised some points. Now, here's where I agree and disagree. I agree with certain aspects of this, but like, I mean, we moved from Python to Java. Like, that process took a year and a half. You know, here we are with Java. Like, Java's here to stay. It's not going. If we abandon it, it's like, well, we've just wasted 5 years. So that's one aspect. The second aspect is I get it. How you can't keep trying to lure layer one DApp makers to come to the chain. That can't be our focus because we haven't been successful. But I would counter that saying that we have a suite of L1 dApps, and that's probably the sole reason, only one of the main reasons why Icon, in my eyes, is still where it is at the moment, thanks to these applications that have been built very well. Yeah. The third part of this is So this leads into the next part. So also one of the things Rhizome did was did a poll on Ice and Snow being resource drain. So a while back, the foundation had hopes to resolve this EVM issue. So even they were pushing ahead with the Java score, and the EVM issue layer was going to be tackled via sidechain, something which evolved to Snow and Ice. So that was the first route. And yes, now it's turned into a bit of a separate entity. I have a lot of views on this. I'm not going to keep talking about that. But what I'm getting at is, like, if we can lure teams like that to kind of go put forward proposals and actually build out something that sits on top of Icon. Like, yes, there's other ways of doing it, and I'll go back to Near did it a great way. They built Aurora, which was a marketed as a blockchain, but it's just a smart contract that runs on Near that supports EVM, and which is Solidity. So in the background, it's using Near to transact for transactions, although for the end user, they think they're using ETH when they're using the blockchain, but they're using Near basically. So there were options we could have explored and gone down, and it's still probably not too late, but we can't just abandon Java. Java's there. It should be utilized. Like, one of the things Scott talks about is, even if we go down the path of bridging and a cross-chain hub and stuff like that, Java gives us the upper hand because no one else wants to build stuff in Java, so they're not going to fork it, or there's no existing code around, so we're building it from ground up so we can make sure it's secure and things like that. So, look, I think it's a bit, for me, a lot of this, even with the Ice and Snow and all of this, we're at the end where we have working products of this and now we're questioning it. I find that odd. Like, when the Snow and Ice was announced, the community should have, or people should have had the thought of going, no, we don't want another blockchain and this and that. We want something that sits on Icon, and that should have happened then, rather than
no, that doesn't happen.
No, but you know what I mean. Like, come on, it's like we're
people
literally
see
just
another blockchain. They heard airdrop and they were like, "Yeah, I'm all for it." And then that's all they were thinking about and all they wanted. I don't think they were thinking ahead. But can I ask, does Aurora on Near does that have the capability to interact with the entire Kusama and Polkadot ecosystem and all the benefits that lay there?
Essentially, yeah, they could build a bridge, and that's that.
I'm going to say wrong, Fez. No, because they're not a parachain in the Polkadot or Kusama ecosystem, and they won't be using XCM generic messaging to amplify use cases left, right, and center. So that is what Ice and Snow have got going for them. And
I'm not questioning. Look, don't get me wrong. I think now the Snow is launched, we're there. Like, the resource drain and stuff has happened. Now it's about, well, in my eyes, personally, it's about making sure that Snow component and Ice is intertwined in Icon in terms of value add from both sides. Does that happen? I don't know. But yeah, coming back to Icon though, look, Look, overall, this was a great thread to see people talking a lot more about it. I disagree with one focus. I don't see why it can't be both. If people want to build apps, and this is something, David, I know I rattled on, but like you were with me at Korea Blockchain Week. Remember someone I interviewed? What was her name? Oh, you're gonna laugh when I say this. Emoji. Um, she was.
Yeah.
She was.
I'm gonna go. Yeah, Emoji was their name.
Yeah, Emoji. Okay. She worked. She had what was it? She a workshop. She ran workshops where she took Web 2 like devs, and they taught over a period of 3 months them how to move across to Web 3 and start working on Web 3. And a lot of their devs were Java and these kind of like, this is exactly what Rhizome was calling out, that age group where they're set in their careers, but they actually wanted to explore this new upcoming space and how do they get involved in Web 3, but they didn't want to go learning Solidity. And so these kind of companies exist, and it's up to kind of us to kind of go, hey, let's engage these kind of companies to gather interest if we want to lure more devs across to work on a language they're aware of in the Web 3 space.
Yeah, and if I was a company like that, I would then say, hey, okay, that's interesting. I know of ICON and their Java virtual machine building with Java. Hello, ICON. I want to build a curriculum around my. I want to build my program. What's your tooling that we can use to teach these Java devs how to move over from Web 2 to Web 3, and then maybe. Up to a couple of months ago, the answer would be there is no tooling, or there is deprecated tooling, or insufficient tooling. So I was happy to see that, because I didn't know this, that there's so much that this has already been thought about and it's already in motion. There's teams building tooling, and there's RFPs out there for other teams to come in and build tooling. It's already been flagged by the community as stuff we need.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking, okay, well, now that's great to know. I can't build it personally because I don't do very well building Java developer tooling. But, if we get the word out and people want to propose and earn money by building Java tooling in the ICON ecosystem, by all means, this is the best opportunity ever, because there's like at least 2, 3, or 4 RFPs up there. So build.icon.foundation/grants. Go now and come back later.
And this is what we keep drumming home every week. Like, so this sort of stuff and direction didn't exist, and we're getting that now. This is something, that's what Eric commented, and this is what they're actively working on, and we're already seeing the first version of it. So rather than teams just doing random stuff, you can go and look at this and go, okay, this has actually been put out by the foundation, that this is the kind of work we need to get done. So can you do it? If you can, write up a grant and submit it and get cracking.
Yeah. That's it. Yeah. Okay. Shall we leave it there?
Yeah. Did we want to cover the resource drain?
Well, the voting has been clear, 351 votes. The majority says yes. Does that make it truth?
What is your takeaway when you hear resource drain?
That it's pulling away from ICON development. So because of ice and snow, we're not working on ICON as much as an interoperability hub with BTP and whatnot, because we're spending our time on ice and snow, which makes no sense. If you just one of your last tabs, you have the article that dropped on Ice Network about the team behind ice and snow, and literally in the first 4 lines, it says, back in December 2020, the ICON Foundation intimated plans to bring EVM compatibility to the ICON ecosystem. and started searching for the best candidates to lead this development. After many months of vetting, the ICE team was born. And then it goes on to introduce 3 or 4 organizations who were selected based on their skill sets, and they were chosen to do this project, right?
Mm.
So then if they're building this ice and snow chain, it's not like they were working on ICON before.
We don't know that.
Because if they were, and they've been drawn away from their work on ICON, then resource drain.
Yeah. Okay. I get
it. But you are getting your EVM compatibility that is so that basically answers the whole Java problem, right? So then that thread becomes obsolete because, well, there's your answer. It's being built. So then you're saying, okay, is the Java score a problem? And is the solution that we're building for it also a problem? But if these teams have either scaled up or brought in more people or other people to work on the ice and snow project, then it's not a resource drain. But I can't look into these, like we don't know this, you and I, and 351 people voting in a Twitter poll also don't know this. You know, all they know is ice, snow, parachain, airdrop. Is it a resource drain? Yes. According to Elon Musk, what does he say? Vox populi, vox something. It's a Latin little sentence, you'd know. And it's something like the people have spoken. It's whatever the people want. So yeah, if Twitter polls are law, then yes, resource drain.
Yeah. Look, I found it. I was for sure thinking, like, in my eyes, the community had really bought into the narrative, right? So I was surprised at the results. I do get the point, but yeah, I feel, again, I'm like, well, Snow's been successful and got the parrot, well, there now to think, to kind of get so far and then go, oh, maybe not. It's not ideal in my eyes, but yeah, look, it's interesting to get that kind of feedback from the community as well. So it was a real good poll. Okay, next up, Wildware, Rhizome, Studio Mirai. Do you want to talk to this? I thought I won stuff. I didn't. I don't know where I am. Please enlighten me, David.
So the whitelist. So the Machin is the collection after Tamashi, and it's going to be a 10K mints across 3 different blockchains. There is a lot of whitelists going on. I think there's 5 tiers, and if you're in the Mirai Discord, you be up to date. I feel like if you're not in there for 2 days, that you're completely out of the loop. Like, it's either you're in there all day, you know what's going on. I couldn't keep up. So these days I have to just read these announcements to stay up to date on what's happening. You know, I thought there was an interesting line at the bottom, and it says that they're aiming to launch this collection Q4 2022, and that is this month. So yeah, it seems like you can get your wallets ready, get your ICX ready if you want to hop on.
Do you know what you have to do to upgrade to gold? Or
no, I wouldn't. I can imagine spin a wheel maybe. Or beep boop.
Yeah. Well, look, overall, that's it. It's happening. The whitelist has closed 26th of November. It's getting close, and 3 chains. That's pretty cool. I'd heard of that as well. And they're going to be at when?
Oh yes. So in a week's time, or actually, it's going to be 9-10 days. There's the When blockchain Web3 event in Estonia, and Studio Mirai is one of the organizers, I believe. So they're going to be there, big presence. I'm going to be there, so I'm going to be checking that out, see if I can score some of the Machin merch. Maybe I can buy a real life NFT. Maybe I can actually get updated on everything so that I can roll back into the server and, you know, be with the latest news.
Good.
I don't know if do you reckon it'll launch before that? I don't think so. It'll probably launch after.
Yeah.
Are you going to get one? I know you said you won one, but are you going to get yourself a Machin?
Yeah, of course. But I mean, as long as I can. Honestly, I know I've won two, but I don't know if I've won Marsh. I've won something too, maybe even three. I don't know, Ben, but definitely two.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I will. I like this.
Yeah.
I like the cross-chain element. We've had that before. It'll be interesting to see how it materializes. Obviously, we have our big cross-chain NFT project that sold out called Claws that has done effectively nothing since it launched. Yes, there's been updates. Yes, there's been talk about a gaming app on Avalanche. Maybe they'll drop a massive announcement tomorrow and prove me wrong, but up till now, fuck all has happened. Oh, sorry. Are we allowed to swear, Fez, on this one?
Yeah, I mean...
yeah, okay, go on. So in terms of interoperable NFTs, we haven't seen a lot yet, but it is a part of this pitch. Yeah. And I'd like to see it come to fruition, and I believe it will, which is why I like it. Okay.
Yeah, cool. Let's keep moving on. And if you aren't, well, by the time you listen to this, it'll be out, and the monks are going to be doing another part 2 on a Validator series, and they'll be having Geodude from my IAM talk about the power of Ohm and validation and all that stuff. So if you haven't already, make sure, take a note of the time. It is going to be a Twitter space, so join and support the cause. I know they did a framed one. Oh, yes, David.
I was just no Twitter Spaces. I like that. I was putting my hand up as in like, yeah, I love Twitter Spaces because you can rock up. It works best on your phone. You rock up and you can actually ask or apply to get pulled into a speaking position where you can ask questions.
Yeah,
and it's quite it's more informal and more like a hangout.
Yeah.
And it's very accessible because it's on Twitter, so there's a lot of people who can come in and go. And most importantly, it gets recorded and then is available on Twitter afterwards as well. So if you cannot make it to the live one where you can actually ask your own questions, you can always just slap it on when you are at a later moment.
Do you know how to find like old Twitter Spaces?
Well, so yeah, two things you can do. Either go to the in this case Monk's Academy account and start scrolling down. But there's also in this Twitter search bar, there's ways of finding specific stuff. You should Google it, but if you put in, it's the same with Google, by the way. You know, you can use Google to search a certain website. You just put in the website name .. and then your search term, and it will only search that website. And it's the same on Twitter, and the code or the short codes are available on the World Wide Web. I promise.
Okay, so I should Google it. Okay, I don't know why I always forget Google it. Like. Anyway, okay. And, you know, while we're on it, as always, the show is sponsored by the Monks. Thank you.
Cheers.
And you can just see all the great work they're doing. They're not just dishing out sponsorships, they're actually doing the hard work themselves as well and putting on shows. So great to see. Oh, it works, David. What?
Oi, oi, oi. So this is the website of the new and improved Gangsterverse, gangsterverse.co. We tried to visit last show, and we couldn't get in. And I figured, it's probably gangsterverse.com. But then that didn't work either, so we couldn't figure it out. But now we have. It's gangsterverse.co. It's the new website of the Gangsterbet project. They're moving forward. So we just wanted to show this and tell everyone that it is live. You can visit it. It has a budget. Like, the information is being rebranded and repacked, and there's so much new elements to it. You've got your Emerald City, your Crown tokens, your banks. They're going to do this foreign exchange that's going to interact with the Polygon blockchain, where there's going to be a Sapphire City. So talk about interoperable NFTs and NFT projects. We're looking at one with the Gangsterverse. And that's all. Go to the website and give it a look over. They've done a good job with the art.
Yeah, it looks cool. And the website worked. That was the goal here. Okay.
Yeah.
Next up, discussions are kicked off about adding ETH as a collateral type. So this
Yeah.
is on balanced, and just to be clear, this is not iETH. This is ETH bridged across from Binance Smart Chain via ICON Bridge.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah. So that we've had Binance Smart Chain Bitcoin bridged across and put up as collateral for loans on balanced. The suggestion here is to do it with ETH. Why not is my thought.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what it will do short term, seeing as the Bitcoin, some people tested it out, it works, you can use it as collateral on balance, but it hasn't like pumped up the protocol usage, or I don't think a lot of it has actually bridged over. ETH could be different this time around. What do you think?
Yeah, I think ETH will be. I think whoever this person is who's put it up actually makes that point that there's probably a higher demand for ETH versus Bitcoin. And finally, I think when the final update of balanced with the bribing of pools and things like that goes out, this is where we'll start to see interesting things and happen and pick up, as long as people know how to do it and use it. So then all of a sudden, if audits are done on Icon Bridge, we've got a verified, audited way of moving stuff across from Binance Smart Chain, and then people, whales for the moment, could start bribing what pool they want to get incentivized and create liquidity pools. And with assets like ETH and BTC, like there's a pair right there, ETH and BTC on balance that gets distributions of inflation of balanced token, and it becomes quite profitable to have that pool, which could see a lot more liquidity migrate across. So right now it's very much someone makes a proposal, drafts it, it gets voted on and goes through that whole shebang, and people probably have just gotten tired of it. So when the new tokenomics kick in, it should be quite interesting to see what happens there.
And good to have these puzzle pieces in place, right? Like there's no point now discussing but what will it do, the addition of one token. In my opinion, add every token. Add every token, and and get the new bribing mechanism in place, and then see what happens. Like it's all best practices. Other platforms have done this. Seems to work, so let's follow. And when we're done catching up, we can start to innovate with our cross-chain functionalities. That's kind of the whole thing. Like I would love for Balance to innovate, to do something that other platforms haven't done or aren't even able to do, and that could be like the unique selling point for people to try Icon, because Balance has this amazing utility fleshed out. That's what I'm hoping for. Short term.
Yeah, I think it's short term. It'll be interesting. I think even with Ohm, this is what, once we have that and say they get added on Ohm, and there's a bit of incentive just for us in the Icon ecosystem, hopefully it attracts more eyes. I don't know, David. The whole eyes thing seems to be failing miserably at the moment. If Ohm is paying you 15% to borrow BNUSD and we can't attract eyes, well, something's going amiss here. So we need to rethink how we can pull people. And honestly, like my view on that is, I just think because there's no easy way to get on Icon, right? Yeah. So in terms of, I have to go to Exchange to get ICX to kick off my adventures in Icon. I can't bridge and then get started in any way, shape, or form. And even if I bridge at the moment, there's nothing there. No bridge assets are anywhere for me to do anything. So, I mean, it exists with Orbit Bridge, but I don't know.
Yeah, I know what you're saying.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. It's an obvious issue. I like that. I like the route that Hannah is going. I think Hannah is going to enable easier on-ramping into the Icon ecosystem.
Yeah, actually,
And
you're seeing some of it with some bridging options in the wallet itself, right?
yeah, and it
Yeah.
would be really good to if Balance does have that like unique use case, and people are like, oh, how can I get in? If your answer is then, oh, it's literally 3 clicks, download this wallet, HANA wallet, send this token to your address, and you're there. Like you've got all your functionality. If it is that easy to get in and to get out again, because it's all cross chain, then yes. But let's be honest, I never go into I never dive into the other ecosystems that have similar platforms that are not top 20, right?
Okay,
Like, do you
interesting.
go? Yeah, I know you do this all the time because of your like thirst for new protocols and learning about them. I do it less, so I know Icon inside out, but I don't know the next thing about the next blockchain, right? So I don't blame the communities there for doing the same thing.
Yeah, no. Look, yeah, yeah, I agree. Let's see what happens. I mean, yeah, look, I shill home a bit at the moment because I'm like, these rates are insane. Like,
Yeah, they are definitely.
like,
No,
it's no brainer, people. Like, and
in
they're
a way,
not.
yeah.
Anyway,
We've seen insane rates and no brainers before in crypto, and it usually doesn't end well. But in this case, it just seems to be like the sheer lack of indeed outside eyes coming in. Because if they would, these rates would come down.
oh, totally. But that's not a bad thing. Like,
It's not a bad thing. No, then it's served its purpose.
Mm.
But as long as they're not, whoever is in is benefiting.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you're kind, you're sharing, you're telling everyone, hey, look, you could be in Ohm, you could be doing this right now. Threads, tweets, everything.
Do it, people.
You're generous. You're a generous guy, Fez.
Thank you. After the Aussie win, I tend to be a bit generous. Okay, so look, I thought we'd talk about CPS, but we have been just talking away for 47 minutes, so maybe we won't deep dive in it. I think CPS has come back.
Yeah, it's been, we can say it's been in maintenance mode, right, for over a week. And that's something that doesn't usually happen. CPS cycles from application periods to voting periods. Or projects in one period, projects can apply for grants, and in the next period, these periods take about 2 weeks, the validators in the ICON ecosystem can vote which projects they would like to see funded. And it's all on chain. It happens automatically. These projects receive their funding based on their progress reports that also get voted on, approved or rejected. So the whole machine just, it's never ending, infinite loop. But it was in maintenance mode because they were upgrading these automatic contracts to perform better, to get them. I think 1 out of 3 is in Java. I think the other ones have to get upgraded as well. So that was a bit of an off moment, and something that had to be handled because everyone had to know what was going on here. And as of now, the maintenance is over. So it's done. It's sorted. You can now put in your proposals for, I think there's 1 hour left. And we've seen at least 6 proposals come in. And then in the next 2 weeks, ICON validators will be voting which of these proposals they'd like to see approved, which ones rejected. They get to rank them as well. So if they approve all of them, they have to at least rank them so that the top ranked is more likely to get funding. And on we go. Have you had a look at the proposals that have been injected into the CPS?
Yep, I have. I've been keeping a close eye because, Iron Icon's now registered to vote on these as well, David.
Definitely. We've sponsored developer Paul, who wants to build tooling, a Golang SDK, a software development kit that helps develop in the Go language, so you can interact with the ICON blockchain. And the ICON blockchain is written in Go. and then you can write your dApps in Java if you want, because there's a Java virtual machine that translates it, I believe. And I'm not too sure on the details, which is why I'm not in here building these products. But tooling is good in our books.
Yeah, same.
Any other tooling happening?
Well, yes. So, well, we got this magic integration with Icon. The technical articles. So this is the teams that are working on Icon Bridge and the tracker and things like that are coming together, and they want to put together a bunch of articles that cover everything to do with Icon. So kind of like a eth.org learn section, and they've actually covering off a ton of stuff, and a lot of it, some of it score basics, which is specific to Icon. And who better than the builders to actually pull this together? And we've been saying we need docs and this and that. So I just, pardon me, I just don't know if this was part of an RF or they're just doing something separate where they've seen a need and they're coming together and putting it through. But overall, in my experience, devs and teams just don't want to do this. Docs and stuff just go out the window. So $5,000 to, well, let's say $6,000 for this seems like peanuts to me. Personal view there. But yeah, generally, I just hope the quality of these articles that they put together are good. Like, and I do have faith, just seeing the way Cyrus is on there, just seeing the way Cyrus has looked after and put the ways of working and guidelines and stuff into GitHub for Icon Bridge to open source it. I have a lot of confidence there seeing this proposal personally.
Yeah.
Then the poll one, this is great. Anything, I think in a bear market right now, I mean, if I jump back to Rhizom's thread where we talked about Java score and the issues there, but primarily one of the underlying issues with all of that is we just don't have the articles and the right dev tooling to enable devs to just come in and start working on a blockchain. So given we're in a bear market, it will be good to see more of that coming through to get the tooling, because otherwise we're just going to have same stuff that isn't attracting new people. So let's get, and don't forget the tooling doesn't enable more dApps. If the shift is, you know, looking at a cross-train strategy or anything along those lines, even Icon Bridge. Let's take Icon Bridge for an example. Once the GitHub and everything's created, if the devs are there, they can start building stuff on top of it. So yeah, that to me, as an Icon, that's where we're what we're adamant to try and do, or to bring in some nice some features that enable usability in Icon, but at the same time, like, crap, am I dishing alpha right now? But like the goal is like to create, if you're creating a protocol or some kind of dashboard or something like that, to think of, create it for Icon, it serves a purpose, a real good purpose, and can it then be tooled into other chains tapping into the same thing, where indirectly they're using and seeing Icon in the mix of stuff as well, if that makes sense. So okay, think 1inch. I mean, that's a big brand, but 1inch, for example, they started on Ethereum, but now, like, when you go to 1inch, you can flick over to all these different chains. But you're still using 1inch, right? Like, that's why you've gone there. You have the option of using it on so many other chains. It does the exact same thing, but it's 1inch. So it would be cool to start seeing, even on Icon, we do stuff like that, where we have something and it's built for Icon originally, and then it can flick on to other chains. And we're seeing Craft as well. You see how it's got the Craft, and then it's got Icon, and you can pick different chains. So that sort of stuff is good. I love seeing stuff like that, and I'm hoping we see more things like that come through as well.
Agreed. We love tooling, don't we? At Ion Icon.
We do.
we're rolling with the tooling fad.
Yeah.
It's our hype right now. So yeah, hoping that the Golang tooling that we sponsored gets voted in, and we'll see what happens because the votes are law. So
Yeah.
that's voting starts in 1 hour, I think, from now, and then there's 2 weeks of that.
Look,
So
in general, David, it's a good batch of proposals that's come through the hackathon. Great. I mean, we know the Studio Mirai, Win3. Quite honestly, like, it's pretty good rate. Like 16K is not bad. Originally, I saw it when it was being spoken about. It was up to 18.5. So I actually tweeted, that I was surprised at 16,500, and I wasn't just shilling it because genuinely I was quite taken back that Ben did a solid job keeping it in check in terms of price wise.
And it'll be interesting to see. Like, I'm going there, right? I want to see what it's like.
Yeah.
I want to see not just the content that is happening at the conference, which is going to be interesting, panel talks, keynote speakers, all that stuff, but the content that's going to come out of it as well, like what can projects or teams take from it, who's getting interested, what kind of insight do we get, how is it going to look, all that stuff. Like, if it's amazing, then that's amazing, and then I want this every year, if you know what I mean, like as a user, as a viewer.
Well,
but you have to give it a chance.
Yeah, totally. Look, I mean, I keep coming back to David. We give this example where we walked around Korea Blockchain Week, and people were surprised we were wearing Icon merch, and it's like when he got talking, they didn't realize Icon was still in the game and doing stuff. So my takeaway, I've always told you, even instead of doing all of this, all we should do is have 20 people who know their shit about Icon rock up to a conference in Icon gear and just walk around. That will do far more marketing than anything in my eyes. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But overall, I see this as a great different way of taking it and trying to expand Icon's reach. But finally, David, I really hope there's some thought being put into capturing, and I say this, and as I say it, I realize there is, like, capturing the impacts of, has this helped, or did it just turn out to be a big party for everyone? Because I'm really hoping it's not the latter, and it's we're able to track what kind of an impact hosting an event like this has had. Have we been able to onboard anyone new? What has happened from it? What has it generated in terms of, with Binance Smart Chain marketing team being there and things like that? Have we been able to enable more connections that help us grow in some way, shape or form? So I hope there's ways of tracking such metrics, and as I say this, why I say there will be, because I know, David, you've been hard at work in the background, working with the HANA team around onboarding and things like that. The experience, so when people come in, they tap, and hopefully they get an NFT. They tap, sign up to HANA, get an NFT delivered with some ICX, and they're all of a sudden in the Icon ecosystem, and they can explore it because they don't have to. So I know that aspect exists, which is fantastic. That's a great starting touch point, grab people, but overall how the conference actually adds value will be interesting to see.
Absolutely. So the good thing is it's happening anyways, right?
Well, yeah,
it's happening in 9-10 days. This CPS project is submitted to reimburse costs to organize it all. So I hope it goes through, because it's a big sucker if it doesn't. But the event is happening in 9 to 10 days.
Yeah.
So that's a given. But I hope this goes through. And then there's the second annual ICON Hackathon support. We've seen the hackathon before, haven't we? This is the one where Eclectica, the metaverse, on ICON won. And they say they want to do it again, take their learnings from the first hackathon into the second hackathon. They said last time they had 26 teams working on ICON dApps. That's what do you think about hackathons, Fez?
I love it.
Does it
I've been calling
sit in
it
between?
No,
between conferences on the one side and tooling on the other side. Is hackathon, is that like a middle ground?
No, I like it. It's. I think this is something I covered with you last show or something like that. I'm like, I want to see what's coming out of it again. Like, I actually appreciate that for such little money they host these big hackathons and get quite a lot of. But I haven't seen sticky rates. Like, what at the end are we ending up with? How much new? How many new people have come across and actually started doing stuff for ICON and stayed? So so this is not me. This is just me now thinking hackathon. Everyone wants hackathons. Yep, but okay, what's the end game? What has it done for us? But overall, David, tell me, on what planet are you going to find a hackathon for $14,500?
Elon Musk is looking for one on Mars, but I don't know. I couldn't tell you. So the hackathon people, they need tooling, because they need these teams to be able within a day or 3 days or within a couple of weeks to get to know ICON and to build a product on it.
Tooling.
They need tooling, don't they? And I think maybe the sticky rates that you mentioned, maybe that is one of the learnings from last time, right? So they've done this last year. They had 26 teams. They had a top 3 projects come through, and they've learned from, hey, a lot of people left or they didn't stick. What went wrong there, or how can we do that better this year? So let's do a second round with key learnings and see if we can give Fez his projects this year. Yeah,
love it. Look, David, since we've covered everything, I mean, we haven't covered Redemption, which is redeemable NFT platform. It is being made by Frankie, who we've had on the show who's the founder of Alter. I'm going to be honest, I just don't know enough about it to have a view at the moment, so I really couldn't talk to it.
No, you'd have to. Yeah, no, I gave the CPS proposal. I didn't give this one a read. I gave I think it was the announcements or updates in Discord a read about the redemption. To me, it's not always clear what is Alter, the NFT project. I bought an Alter NFT off of the Drop website, which I believe is a profit sharing NFT for the Alter merchandise brand. I thought that was the project initially, right?
Look, guilty, same. I think before the show, that's what my comment to you as well. I was like, dude, I thought that's what the project was, so this sounds very similar.
And I thought that it hasn't sold out yet, but it's getting there. It's a slow burner, this one. And then I thought then stuff was going to happen. So, you know what I mean? So first you launch your project, your plan, you do your NFT sales, but we have seen merch coming out, and I know there's talk of more merch becoming available, and it is one of my best caps. The Alter cap. It is quality, and the next merch is going to have this customized unboxing experience again. It's just the whole thing. It feels like it's good stuff. It's quality. So I'm liking that a lot. So I'm like, hey, I've got this NFT, profit sharing NFT. That's great, because these things will probably sell, because the quality is good. It's an experience. I don't understand what the next steps are, but that's I also don't know if that's if that's me, not them. I just haven't gotten in. I don't know.
I think it's an interesting point, because I feel the same. Like, I love it. I love the hat. I actually took it to India with me. I'm upset at myself for doing that, because now it's been through a lot. And but love the hat. Overall, my point here is like, you know how we feel because we're not in the Discords, and it's impossible to just stay in every Discord staying updated.
It is.
So, I mean, there's a real disconnect there. That's telling me, like, if these projects have got either too much information coming through that you have to be in to stay in touch, or that information sits in Discord, and I'm talking with Alter. Like, Alter to me is a front-facing brand, right? Like, so that information should be readily available, and probably is. We just haven't looked. Look, I think it should be easily spottable, and we should know the difference out of Discord. Go to the site, understand exactly how everything works, and it probably is. So apologies if we've just skipped it and not seen it. I will give Frankie and the team a lot of credit here, though. This, while we're not versed up in what this redemption is about, because we just thought, he has had this on the forums for a very long time now. It's been there, David, in open site for people to ask questions and stuff like that. So, and I'm a big believer in that. I tend to get upset when I just see a CPS proposal drop on the last hour and then it goes through voting and it gets knocked back and people are like, why?
No, this is how you do it. So that dropped on September 14th.
Wow. So
that is it 2.5 months ago?
Yeah.
The plan for the redemption by Alter got dropped. It got like 3 or 4 responses, questions asked, talking up and down about it. So us being ICON validators, we have to get across this.
We do.
Because we have to cast an informed vote, and we can't be reading off of headlines. We have to dive into every proposal and then judge it on its merit, or whatever our validator node beliefs are. Maybe we can democratize it and put it up for vote for our voters. But at the same time, these people also only read headlines. So then whoever has the sexiest headlines get the most votes. Is this, or am I now just like highlighting the problem with democracy worldwide?
Are you thinking what I'm thinking? The sexy redemption redeemable NFT platform sold.
We have to dive in and maybe next week we'll know, right? Because the voting period is 2 weeks. So next week we'll circle back to these and maybe even homework for us. We have to give a short sentence on each project, what it is, what it does, and what we're voting.
Oh, God. Good. Thanks, David. I'm back at school and getting homework. Great. Thanks, man. You took a fun thing and you made it homework.
You are welcome.
Thank you. No. Okay, everyone. Look, we've gone almost an hour 10. David, how did we stretch like 10? No. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. As always, not financial advice, just two guys sharing our views about anything and everything that's going on in the ICON ecosystem. Any final words, David?
Go Australia.
Yeah.
I hope you make it to the next round. We can talk about that next week as well. And thanks everyone for listening to this one, and stay safe out there.
Definitely. Next week, expect me to be well-versed in everything to do with soccer, okay? I'm going to come at you with offside, onside, you name it. I'm going to know all the lingo. Maybe even drop a soccer tutorial. Who knows? Just switch up crypto setups, Aussie soccer tutorials.
Looking forward to it.
Take care, everyone. Bye.
Bye.